Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have the Holy Stone HS900Pro. So let's open up, see everything that we get inside, and then we will try it outside and see how it performs. This is not my regular studio, so it's a lot more echoey on vacation, but I figured I'd take the opportunity to get this up and running and show you how it works. So I'm gonna flip the camera around, give you some close-up views of this as we open it, and we go from there. So stay tuned. All right, so right away, I love the fact that it has a case that makes everything so much easier. It's got an outer pocket so you can put the manual and stuff in there. Has a strap for easy carrying, especially if you're going on a hike or somewhere. I think they'll be absolutely fantastic. So everything is nice and sealed in here. So that is your instruction manual. So let's open that up. So that is your user manual, and then that is your disclaimer and guidelines, but it looks like this is kind of like a quick access book that is here as well. So quick start guide. All right, so that will run you through the pairing mode and everything. There are some QR codes to help you with that for purposes with Amazon. I'm unable to show them to you, but they are on the manual. And then basically that'll run you kind of through everything. So pretty straightforward. We'll go into more of that when we get outside. So that is your user manual. And it goes over a variety of things in here as well. Good idea to completely read this before you start flying so you can get some helpful hints and tips. And then let's open up everything as we go. So that is your controller. So it has some drop down handles right there. And then this is going to be your joystick controllers. And then you have the knobs that are stowed in here for easy transporting. And you just basically put them in, screw them in. That's good. And then they have some nice kind of like little spikes on a controller so you won't slip off that too easily. And then that is your camera button right there. And then this will kind of give you a bunch of different things going on here, but I'll go over this with you so you are comfortable with that. These are your antennas. So pretty neat. And then this is going to be where you put your phone as your monitor, your controller. So again, once we get outside, I'll show you how that all sets up. Really nice. Get that out of its little cocoon. And then basically you open the arms up. It says right down there, 249 grams. And then that's how that all folds out. That's where your battery goes in, your memory card. That's how you have some external charging and stuff available on there. And then this is going to be your lens protector. And that was only stowed for transportation purposes. And you got a pull tab on either side. So pretty neat. And then just push down on that. And then that will release your camera. And there's also a little lens protector on here as well. So make sure you pop that off. And again, you got a nice little foam protecting pad in there to protect that camera. And then put it back together. And to put it back together, basically just kind of slip that down in front like that. And then you are just pushing that piece down there. And then that will lock that into place for easy transportation, okay? And then in here, you'll have all your accessories. Let's see everything that we get in there. So not one, but 2 batteries. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see what they look like. Okay, that's one. And that's 2. And again, that power kind of give you an idea of how much charge they're about halfway charged when you get them. And then this is all your cabling, accessories that come in there. All right, so has your charging cables. So you get your USB to C. Got some extra little screws in there, a little screwdriver to help with repairs. And you get some spare propellers. I'm not going to open them up since they're nice and neatly packed. And then this is your controller cables. So you get your USB-Cs, then you got your Lightning, and then you got your Android cable. And basically what that is for, so when you have this controller set up, you have your Type-C on the other side, and then basically you're going to be connecting that to that, and then it'll connect to your Android phone or your Apple. So we'll show you that a little bit more. And then one of them is going to be your charging port. Yeah, so this side connects to your phones, and then this is going to be your charging port to charge this up. So, and it does not come with a charging block. That's everything that's in the case, but you can use like one from a cell phone or plug it into your laptop, desktop, or whatever, and that will charge that right up. And then your batteries are basically set up that way. Okay, and then your battery basically plugs in like that, and then that's where you charge the drone up with the battery in place. Just make sure that it is clicked in good, and you'll kind of feel it just find its home. And then when you're done, just pull the battery out by using these both clips, engaged and disengaged. So let's go plug it in this drone and charge that up, and same thing with the controller, and we'll go outside and we'll show you how that works, so stay tuned. Okay, so following along the directions, we're going to start with step 2. So basically you want to make sure you take your cover off your gimbal, and then you are going to want to stretch out your propeller arms. And then you want to make sure that you insert your SD card in this way. So kind of like the copper's up, and then push it in. And my experience is they seem to kind of like auto format if they need formatting, or make sure that you go into your options to be able to format that as we go. And then basically hooking up everything, kind of do it in this order. I'm going to be using an iPhone. So make sure your iPhone is on. And then once I have that in place, I'm going to install it down here. And before you start the app, make sure that you are hooking it up to the phone first, to the controller, and turn your controller on by quick press and then a long press. and then that will turn it on for you. And then on your drone, same, tap, long press, and then that will kind of get everything started for you. Now you do have to put your app on a phone. Okay, so on your mobile device, click on the HS Series app after you have it installed. Go fly, and then basically it's going to say caution, weak GPS signal, because up in this corner it's going to be looking for 14 satellites to connect before this even starts working for you. And so you can kind of like see like the map, everything's there, and then you can kind of move your drone around and see that it is connected. So make sure your drone has a good line of sight outdoors to the sky, so that can quickly calculate. So we're going to move this into a better position outside. So again, we're waiting for that to climb. So we're at 10 satellites right now. Okay, so we have 12 satellites, so it's not going to pinpoint our position, but it's going to be good enough to be able to get us to fly. But caution, weak GPS. My experience is sometimes once you take off, it will automatically get some of those other satellites hooked up a lot quicker. And I think we're at 13 now, so we are almost ready to go. So let me just focus in on the drone. Okay, so to unlock the drone, you can kind of like see it off in the distance, a little blurred, but this is kind of the best angle I could get for this. So basically, that will unlock your propellers, and then you can see that your drone is ready for takeoff. And then basically, you are hitting the up arrow to basically get this to take off. So once you have all the GPS satellites, okay, so we're ready to fly, and very maneuverable, as I'll kind of like show you. So we're pretty close to the pool, so obviously you don't want to be over water with anything happening, but that is great control that this has. I want to get a little bit lower. And again, I've been flying drones for a while, so I can kind of get these into a little bit tighter spaces than most. But, so again, I will get you some really smooth videography from this. And like I said, it's very nimble, and then yet very easy to control. And anyway, let's go record some video. Okay, so to get into all the different setting modes, you just hit that little gear, and then I'll give you all your different settings. You have to create an account and log in to be able to get max distance and max altitude, so that's something to keep in mind when you're first registering this. You should be set up to go from there. You have speed modes, stable, normal, sport. I usually like to use normal as kind of a go-between mode, and that gives you some really good flowing moves on the camera as you go. There is a way to calibrate, so you want to go into settings again and do this initially, and anytime you change location, like currently I'm down south, but I'm heading back north, so when I do that I'm going to have to recalibrate everything. But go into calibration, and then calibrate compass, hit that, and it's going to say start calibration, and it's basically going to have you basically do exactly what the graphic entails. So kind of like get into frame here, but you are rotating the drone around, so hopefully you can kind of like get that and understand that process. Then it's going to tell you to turn it, so you basically want to turn it this way. And again, I'm just getting it really close so you can see what happens on the screen as I'm going through the motions of it. And then you can go into like the gyroscope mode, which is basically putting it onto a flat surface, doing nothing, just kind of like let it doing its own auto calibration. So see, boom, that's done, nice and easy. And then like the gimbal auto calibration, and that's always good to do pre-flight anyway, because that is going to, and if you see the video kind of changing on the screen, it's going to go through the whole process of setting up the gimbal, making sure that the rotation of it is going to be perfect, so you can go up and down with the camera, and it'll keep it the best stable position as possible. But anyway, I think that is a great overview for everybody without getting too involved in the features, because like I said, there is so much that you can change and program and do everything else with. I love that once you start flying, you'll see the directional lines on this little map here will show you where you've come from, and then when you're coming back, it's going to actually give you a trajectory heading back. So if you get kind of like confused through all this, you can always know where you come from, where you want to get back to. And then if you hit this, let me slide this down a little bit, and if you hit this auto home feature, no matter where it is in the sky, the drone will come back to you from where it basically took off from, which is absolutely an awesome feature, especially on this. But yeah, I mean, that is basically everything. But I will show you the video after this of this nice silky smooth footage you're going to be able to get on this. But anyway,